All right, hello there. I'm going to go ahead and go over how I use Photopea to create the ship for asteroids. Um, the assignment's right here. I know there's a whole bunch of you that were absent for this one. There is a link to where you can play an emulator of the classic video game. This is what it was like when I was a kid. And then we're going to be using Photopea. Uh, it'll run in your Chromebook, which that's a nice thing. And when you open up Photopea, do click on the account button and use your Google credentials to log in. I'm logged in with my Salinas Union High School District. The nice thing about doing that, at least on my computer, is that the project, it's always easy for me to find it. And Photopea remembers paths on my computer for me once you're logged in with your account. Now, our ship in Asteroids, if we take a look at the exercise here, run the demo, our ship is a little object here in the center of the screen. Okay, all we're going to do is make the thing appear there, but we have to build it. So over here in Photopea, you have to set up a new project. Click the new project button and give your ship a meaningful name. My demo ship kind of sums it up. It's my demo ship. This is important. We are making this object 20 pixels by 20 pixels. So you need to set the width to 20 pixels, the height to 20 pixels, and also set the background to transparent. We want this to be see-through when we export it. And click Create. Now, as you can see, it's very tiny. If I press the Control key, hold the Control key down and press 0, I'll full-size zoom on this. If I press the Control key, hold it down, and press 1, it goes to actual size. So Control 0, full screen, Control 1, actual size. These are going to be important. Also, Shift and middle mouse button scrolls like that, and just middle mouse button scrolls like that. The Alt key and the middle mouse button lets you, so Alt key, hold the Alt key down, and the middle mouse button lets you scroll in and out if you have a scrolling mouse, like we have in class. If you don't have a scrolling mouse, I don't know what the touchpad secrets are for these things. Um, so we've got this 20 by 20 object here. It's very useful to be able to see the grid. To see the grid, click on View, Show, and make sure that the grid is checked. Okay, and when you have the grid checked, you'll be able to see that the grid does show up. Now, at the moment, the grid is set to a wide gap of pixels. If I press Control 0 right here, I can see that it's 5 pixels wide. So to fix that, I'm going to click Edit, Preferences, and I'm going to drop the grid gap to 1. And now you can see that now we can see every single pixel that makes up this 20 pixel wide by 20 pixel high object that we're making. Now, how you make your object, it's kind of up to you. We've got a background here, which currently is locked, but if I start editing on here, it's going to start building stuff on there. You're going to save 2 versions of this file. One version is going to be the PSD file. I'm going to go ahead and save that right now. File, save as a PSD. Here's where I'm in my Documents folder. I start in my Documents folder. And in my Documents folder, I've got a folder called Alvarez High 2324. This is file structure. And inside my Alvarez High 2324 folder, I've got a game design folder. Inside a game design folder, I got a graphics folder. Inside a graphics folder, I got an asteroid folder. And there's some of the stuff I've already built. In 6th block, I built those 2 ships for the kids that were there the first day. So this one's going to be my demo ship. I'm going to store it in that location. You should make sure you store yours in a similar, well-organized location. It should be a nice path starting with documents, and the path should go down to like a graphics folder and an asteroid folder, because we're going to have graphics from many different projects. So start building a nice file structure right now. I'm going to click Save. Now it's saved. My demo ship is now saved. If I want to save it again, I just got to go right down here and click Save, and bam, it'll be saved. Now, what am I going to make here? Well, I've made a variety of ships so far. I'm going to start with an ellipse tool. So this is a shape tool right here. We got rectangles, ellipses, lines, hexagons. You can actually adjust the parameters and get more sides if you like. I'm going to go with an ellipse, and I'm going to draw an ellipse from the middle here, and then I'm just going to adjust it. All right. And now I'm going to click on the Move tool, make sure that this box is checked. This is the transform controls box. You want to make sure that's checked, because if it's not checked, you can't get these little squares that toggles I'm going to use. But if you check that, now when this object is, and see, I've already played myself. Let me Control Z out of that. Make a new layer. And this one's going to be called body. All right. Make a new layer. Call it body. Now I'm going to get that rectangle. I'm going to change that color from black to something else. Maybe, yeah, something in that range. All right. Hey, that worked out pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with the placement I got right there. Let me just check one thing here with these controls. I want to make sure that there isn't some red. Yeah, there's no red right up here. So I'm going to adjust that. And down here at the bottom, yeah, no red. It's just all contained within the ellipse. So with the transform controls button checked, you get these controls, and this is going to all be very useful stuff. Now, I do think I want to make it wider. I think that's good. There's where 10 hits 10. 3 on either side of 10. Okay. All right, there we go. So got my first object in. Named it body. I'm going to create another layer. And this is going to be cross member. For this, I'm going to use a rectangle. And I'm going to change its color from that reddish color to a nice blue. There we go, just like that. Now, what if I wanted that blue to be underneath the red? It's an easy thing to do. I just need either one of these layers. I just got to move one layer on top of the other. So if I move that one up, or maybe I'm going to move this one down. There we go. Dropped it right down there. So I just moved this layer around. And now I've got it underneath where I want it. Okay, great. Now I'm going to use ellipses again. I'm going to make 2 narrow ellipses. So I'm going to go back here to ellipse, and I'm going to switch to like some bright yellow here. Oops. Let's stay back on that blue. Let's make a new layer. There we go. We'll call this one left thruster. There we go. Sounds good to me. It's going to be an ellipse. It's going to be yellow. We'll work on where it's at positioning wise on the layers. Start at the top, come down to the bottom. I'm going to make it 2 pixels wide. And this I do want to make yellow. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now that looks good. And then this left thruster, I want to duplicate this layer. So I'll click duplicate and I'll name it thruster. Using my arrows, I can just, learn how to spell Booth. Go right thruster, click on the move tool. Using my arrow key, I can just move it right here to the other side. Now I have to decide, do I want those on the top or on the bottom? And I think I like them on the top. And let's see, let's make like a cockpit for the pilot, for whoever's flying this thing. And so I'm going to click a new layer. Call this canopy. And make this one green. All right, now I can't see my canopy. What's up with that? Well, I'm going to have to move my body beneath my canopy. There we go. Now I can see my canopy. Now let's see. If I press Control 1, I can kind of see my ship, but the grid is really laying all over it. So what you can do is temporarily just click on View, Show, and uncheck Grid. Press Control 1, and you can kind of get a feel for what your full-size graphic is going to look like. And mine's beginning to look, kind of the way I want it to. Press Control 0. I've used these various shapes here. What else could I add to this to make it look a little interesting? I'm going to throw in a rectangle, and I'm going to do some stuff with it. going to make a new layer here. And this is going to be my add-on left. So I'm going to do this over on the left side. It's an add-on object that I'm going to add to this. Let's see. Make it kind of like, yeah, not that big. And let's see the color that I want. A light blue. All right. Now I'm going to click on the Move tool, and that gives me the Transform tool here. And I'm going to take this object and rotate it, I think, like negative 30 degrees. And now that I've rotated it negative 30 degrees, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it like that. And then this add-on, I want it underneath everything. I want it under the yellow. I want it under the blue. I want it under everything. There we go. Nice. All right. And let me see if I move it over left like this and up like that. Oh, yeah, kind of like that. Okay. Tugging it a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, let me make another one of these. Because of the movements I made right there, I want to recreate those steps just so I can get this effect that I'm trying to create. I could just use this object, but I wouldn't probably not be able to rotate it back into a good position to make it look clean. So I'm just going to create another layer. This is going to be called Right Add-on. And just like I made the last one, when I use that rectangle tool, it's going to remember the color. And I know I made it an object that was like that big. That's how big I made it. And I get the transform tool and move this over here. And then now I want to rotate this, but this time I want to rotate that way, which I believe is going to be a positive 30 degrees. All right, and that's nice. And then I can move this thing down kind of into space. There we go. Yeah, just like the other one. It does look just like the other one. Okay, good. And then there's the whole thing. And then tug it just a little bit like that. Yeah. All right. Looking pretty good. Okay. So now I'm pretty happy with this. I've done a lot of work. I'm going to click File and Save. That way it's automatically now saved. You know, if I were to open up that folder in my computer, and there's my, see, there's Asteroid. Good. I'm going to see now, let's see, there's my demo ship, my new Photoshop file. And, but I have to now export this out. I need to send this into that folder as a PNG file. So I'm going to click File, Export as PNG. And with this exported as a PNG, I'm going to my demo ship, and I'm going to call it image 1 because it's my first rendering of this ship, of this file. And I'll click Save. Now, that's going to automatically go to my Downloads folder. So if I click on my Downloads folder, I'll see there it is right there. And I can cut it, Control X from there, hit the back button, and I'm right back where I want to be. Press Control V, and there's my demo ship image 1. Now that's going to complete building the image in Photopea and getting it into a file location on your computer for you to then use now up in Code High School. And that's going to be covered in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.